Hey, how's it going?
Hey, you know what? Can I ask you a question right off the bat?
Yeah.
I've been in started crazy business for a long time. I've been, worked in police. I was police dispatcher, worked in the radio business. And, sugar fire to me tastes as good as 6 o'clock at night as it does at 6 o'clock in the morning. When are you guys going to start breakfast?
Did you say breakfast?
Yeah.
No, I mean, I would do it if everybody's up to it. Barbecue breakfast sounds crazy, but I do a lot of work in Australia too, so I'm there several times a year. And there's a couple of barbecue restaurants there that crush it at breakfast, and so maybe we'll try it somewhere.
Really, really. So they're people eat barbecue for breakfast in Australia?
Yeah. Oh, I'll see it all the time. Yeah, like a couple of spots there, and they kill it.
Well, it's always crazy to me because, like I said, maybe because I've worked all sorts of different shifts, a pizza tastes as good at 6 o'clock in the morning it does at 6 o'clock at night to me. Matter of fact, sometimes better, and it always bothers me. Well, like if I'm a fan.
I've been doing that now, being stuck at home. Like we'll get up, like we'll have like spaghetti and meatballs for breakfast because who cares anymore? You know what I'm saying? I mean, for real. Like it doesn't matter. Like we'll do whatever, whenever. You know?
Yeah. Now you're the head guy. You started this whole thing, right?
Yeah. Yes, I hatched it out of my brain. Yeah, I guess 10 years ago.
We have
franchises. So I mean, like there's probably 700 people that we work with now, and all the franchisees, and they're all doing most of the work right now. I own some of the original stores and some other restaurants, but it started 10 years ago.
Well, now, one of the original stores, was that the one down in Olive, just west of
Olivet. Yeah, that's Olivet store.
Yeah. I've been there many, many, many times, and that was the original store, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, I'll be darned. Now, you've been in the restaurant business a long time?
Yeah, I mean, I just turned 49, so I've been doing it since I was 16. So, I mean, that's a long time. But I was mostly like a fine dining chef before Sugar Fire. So I worked all over the world. I was in France, LA, like New Orleans, Chicago. And then I owned, a bunch of restaurants around St. Louis in the late 90s and early 2000s. And then I switched over to barbecue.
Now, I heard was an out-of-town chef who was interviewed on a radio show, I guess about 2 or 3 months ago. And he said the hardest restaurants to run are barbecue. Is that right?
Well, yes and no. I mean, if you're not doing volume, yes, it's impossible. If you're doing good volume, it's not that hard. But everyone thinks it's so easy. It probably is the hardest restaurant to run. Number one, because everybody's an expert, first of all. So everybody that comes in thinks they know how to barbecue better than you, pretty much. Because I've been food in my backyard. I know what good barbecue is, and I don't know. It's hard and it's easy.
Now, I'm going to ask you a weird question about, and we'll talk about what you guys are doing with all the the shutdowns and things like that. But years and years and years ago, remember the old KC Masterpiece?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Okay. They had the location over there on Lindbergh, South Olive. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Do you remember the crazy story about when they tried to get zoning for that? Do you remember this weird story?
No.
Okay.
Maybe, I don't know.
Okay. The I guess that's Creve Coeur right there. That they and that guy was out of Kansas City. He was a doctor or something. Like, wasn't it what he was?
Yeah, a doctor. Yep.
Right. Okay. And he applied to that used to be a really high end restaurant called Wade's Gathering Place or something like that. Anyway,
yep.
He applied to for a permit to open his restaurant there in Creve Coeur. And the neighbors complained because they were afraid that they would smell the barbecue all day. So and this is a true story. I'm not making this up. A bunch of the city council people, they chartered a bus and they drove to Kansas City and drove around his restaurants in Kansas City to smell how far the smell from his restaurants would permeate the neighborhood, and then decided to give him a permit. Have you ever had that happen to you, where somebody said to you, "Hey, we're not"?
No, but like in our places, no, but close. Like we've offered to fly in. Like we have stores in Colorado and out of state, and we've offered to fly in landlords that have been wary about that. Like in downtown Denver, the guy our first one was going to be in this big high rise downtown. And the guy who owned the building said he didn't want smoke, and we're like, well, it doesn't really smell if you put the right hood in. And we offered to fly him out. He didn't take us up on it. But
did he let you build it then? Did he let you build it?
No.
Oh, he shot
No, he let another restaurant go in that went out of business in 6 months. So it's his loss. We put one in a different spot. It's doing great.
I'll be darned.
Whatever.
Now, with what you're doing on right now, are all your stores open for like takeout and?
No, we closed. Indianapolis was really slow, and Cape Girardeau we closed temporarily. But they're all open for carryout and curbside and delivery or whatever.
Now, you started with the one there in Olivet. How many of them there are now?
16, and then we got 4 under construction. We'll see how those are. We got Jacksonville, Dallas, one in Cedar Rapids, Iowa that's working, and another one. So those were all, I mean, I guess they're on hold now. But
now, you're in an industry, sort of like our industry, the radio business. You work crazy hours. To a certain extent, there's sort of no days off. If someone was going to say, hey, I'm a young guy, like you said, you started 16, would you tell them this is the business to go into?
No, I told them to go to law school. It's just too hard to make money. Like, I mean, I do good now, but I'm old. It's like, it's just too much hard work. And, I have 5 kids, and I have kids that are in college now, and I was working so many hours and so many nights. When they were kids, I missed a lot of their childhood, and it's not a lifestyle I would recommend to anybody. Plus, it's dangerous, and it's fickle, I don't know. I wouldn't get in the business, probably. I mean, I'm lucky. I know how lucky I am. I do great. And it took a long time to get here, but if I was young, no, I would not do that.
Interesting. Now, is the biggest location you have right now, is that the Wentzville location?
That's the biggest one. That's the largest location by far. I think it's about 6,000 square feet. Most of our stores are around 3,000 square feet.
And some of them are even smaller. The one there in Winghaven, that's a pretty small one, isn't it?
Yeah, that's about, I think, 2,200 square feet.
Right. But what's interesting is that and I'm going to ask you a weird question. Okay, years ago, I'm on a convention and I'm flying down to Orlando and I run into a buddy of mine on the plane. We get off the plane, we go to a local restaurant, and on the menu is St. Louis style barbecue. And the guy I was with, we both looked at the waitress and we said to her, "What is St. Louis style barbecue?" And we,
I know.
She didn't know we were from St. Louis. And she says, "Well, everybody in St. Louis eats it." And we said, "Yeah, we're both from St.
Hilarious.
Louis." Yeah, what is St. Louis? Is there a St. Louis style barbecue?
Not really. There's Kansas City and there's Memphis and there's Texas and there's North Carolina, but St. Louis style is really just we pull like most people here cook baby back, so that's Memphis style, and we all really do our pork more of a Kansas City style, our pulled pork. And we actually do more of our brisket, more of our beef, more of a Texas style. So really St. Louis style is all whatever she's saying is BS, because I remember when I was doing research to open Sugar Fire, I was in New York because there's actually some good barbecue in New York City. And I went in this hipster spot, and they said they're going to introduce me to real St. Louis style barbecue. and it was just so weird. It had nothing to do with anything. St. Louis is really more St. Louis style is more like these kind of like more urban spots like A&R and Smokey O's does great St. Louis style barbecue, more of a saucy like pork steak kind of thing. That to me is more St. Louis style than this other stuff.
Yeah. So would you consider Sugar Fire to be St. Louis style barbecue? Have you sort of coined your own?
I think now it is, because I think now we've changed. Between Pappy's and Bogarts and us and Beast and Salt and Smoke and some of these other guys, I think St. Louis is on the map nationally now. I mean, we all win national awards and we all win national contests. So now it's kind of, but I don't think 10 years ago, I don't think there was really a St. Louis style.
Yeah, well, that was, like I said, it was sort of interesting to me because I've heard the Kansas City in the same deal. Hey, Chief Chef Mike Johnson, interesting guy, entrepreneur. I've read a lot about you in the trade publications. I've read a lot about you in St. Louis Business Journal, Post-Dispatch. Man, it's an honor to have you on the air. Anything you want to promote as far as your restaurants, what's going on in these crazy times?
Just that we're all open. We're all very safe and clean. It's like we're not really laying people off. We're using these extra people to do deliveries and to clean like nonstop. So and some people have said you're greedy, stay open. We're not staying open making money. We're actually losing our asses by staying open. It's more about our employees and the people that want to work and want to keep this going. And support their families. It's not about us trying to print money. because that ain't happening.
Well, see, and that's the interesting thing because I've said that before, and I've had people sort of, well, that's not true. Most of the places, if your business model is people come in, they sit down, they eat the food, that's your business model. All of a sudden, if your business model is disrupted, you're in a totally different realm, and you're not doing the volume you did once upon a time, correct?
Well, if you think about it this way, a good restaurant runs a 30% labor cost. Our sales at our restaurants are at 20% of normal right now, so just to stay open, we lose. We lose. Like when it gets to the point like where we lose way too much, like our downtown High Point Drive-In. I mean, it was doing no sales, so we like zero. So we had to temporarily close when this is open. Well, that place kills it normally, but downtown is like really slow right now. There's nobody down there. But no, we're not like the grocery store. I think they might be doing well. So they're that type of place. Yeah, stay open, stay well. We stay open because we're trying to support our employees.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, I mean, but I'm a guy that is out on the street every day with the radio stations. But I have to tell you, the volume is way down at the grocery stores. Last couple of days, I go into the Schnucks, and there's hardly anybody in them anymore.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's really tailed off. It's not like it used to be. Now they're all camped out at Costco and Sam's because they're buying truckloads of toilet paper. If you know what I'm saying. But
yeah, I don't understand that either.
I don't get that. Now, how are you guys doing on toilet paper? How did you do with that?
I know we have tons. I don't know. I think we have a lot here. It's weird.
Are you the guys that cornered the market, or is Sugar Fire the ones that ate up all the toilet paper?
No, but we buy our stuff. We buy all those paper products from a big company. They probably have warehouses of it.
Yeah.
But that's the first thing I checked. I came in here last week. I was like, I wonder if we have toilet paper. I went in. We have like 2 boxes. But nobody comes in to use the bathroom anymore anyway, so it's not like we're blowing through it.
Yeah, I hear you. Hey, Mike, appreciate your time. Interesting talking with you. You gave me some good insights. And by the way, my daughter went to law school, and she decides she wants to be in the barbecue business.
Good for her.
I'll talk to you later, man. Bye-bye.